Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And today we will be speaking about the Mercury Jupiter opposition, which is going to be happening on 28 degree of Leo to 28 degree of Aquarius. Now you're going to feel this the most between the 10th till the 13th of August. Now let's just break down what this means. It's going to be a short video, but Jupiter is all about access. So it tends to be saying way too many times yes to things because it's an opportunistic planet. And Mercury is the planet of mind. So actually our mind can be quite busy in the upcoming days. We might be very busy because we are planning travel, for instance, or actually we can be a little bit anxious as well about something, maybe especially if you have got a travel plan ahead of you. You might be anxious. Oh, did I forget to bring the PCR test with me, and will they accept me at the border, and all those type of things. I am actually traveling on the 23rd to London, and I'm going to be there for a week. I'm visiting my friends. I haven't seen them for almost 2 years now. So I'm a little bit anxious. I can feel this Jupiter Mercury aspect. And because it's actually Jupiter is retrograde, it can really talk about reconnection with some of your friends, Mercury. But also, you can also be anxious because let's say you haven't met someone for 2 years. It's not always that easy to pick up all those connections, right? What you had before. Of course, we have been talking on phone, which is very Mercurian again, but you can become a little bit anxious about that. And Mercury is the planet of connection, right? And Mercury, at the end of the day, is a trickster. It doesn't want to harm anyone, but at the end of the day, it does play some type of funny games sometimes with us. So Jupiter actually can make Mercury overdo things. Now, also pay attention to this aspect because we can get into gossips. We can actually speak a lot faster, or we've got so much to say and we don't know when to stop, or we can actually speak quite a lot as well this time around. So Jupiter is the planet of overdoing things. With Jupiter, whatever it touches, we tend to be a lot more sure about ourselves or about that topic, whatever, let's say, Mercury is ruling in your chart. Or we tend to be over-promising things and then we end up not being able to deliver that. Now, I would like to point out that Jupiter and Mercury are actually natural enemies. So this meeting point here is a little bit of a toughie though. But when they align forces, it is all about being up for adventure. Both Jupiter and Mercury love traveling. Both of them love learning as well. So it's all about having your own point of view to kind of gain clarity over something. And maybe with this aspect, actually, you need to connect with someone. You need to speak to someone, Mercury. Speaking to a guru, Jupiter, but the opposition might be actually telling you that it's a little bit harder today to accept other people's point of view as well. Or you might just need to go to a library, open a book, and then, gaining some extra information. Or you might want to be writing an email to someone to get clarification over certain things which you might be very unsure about, right? Pay attention because this time around, you can actually send plenty of emails and then you can actually get lost because you are receiving plenty of emails, or even your emails can go into spam folders and then you don't see them and then actually you forget replying to them also. But overall, this day can be good for writing, teaching, studying, catching up on things which you kind of have postponed so far. Because with Mercury, Jupiter, there is this multitasking element to it. Remember that Mercury represents your hands. So imagine that Jupiter is giving you kind of extra hands. So it could be a very productive day as well. However, whether you're going to get things done in a proper manner, that's a different story. So kind of like this aspect is reminding me of being an octopus. trying to catch up with things. But sometimes it is also telling you that it's smarter to step back a little bit and then be observant, because your brain can be very restless. Your belief system can be you can become very opinionated about things. And this time around, Mercury just wants to speak out loud, and it doesn't necessarily know when to stop. So like we had Mercury and Saturn opposition last week, which was very much talking about, saying no to things. Or actually, you might have heard a lot more no's from others. This time around, that Mercury-Jupiter opposition could actually be more about hearing and saying yes to things. Jupiter might see a lot more opportunities here. So, but also it could be talking about sorting out agreements or arguments with others, becoming a lot more productive, but we can also become very enthusiastic about something. Mercury is, for instance, business commercials, right? So we can actually pay a lot more money out to something. And we forget to actually negotiate about the price. And previous day, we had also this Neptune-Venus opposition going on, which is also one of the financial aspects as well. So the financials are definitely somehow a topic for us. Now, so we need to be watching out when it comes to business contracts. Shall we sign that? Shall we not sign that? Because actually we can overlook some very important details. Another aspect to this configuration is that we can have big ideas. We can have a huge desire to be heard, because remember that Mercury is still in the sign of Leo, right? So Leo is very fleshy. It's all about self-expression at the end of the day. So we want to be heard. We want to actually speak out or speak up about betrayers, and we want to be standing up for the victims. And basically our sense of justice is a lot more heightened. Or you might just want to be sharing some story with others and you don't necessarily know when to stop. So that's definitely in the mix here. Another danger is that because you speak way too much, you can let the cat out of the bag as well easily. So you can get into gossips, you can slip up on something which is an important, let's say, company secret, and then you can actually get into trouble because of that. So this aspect is definitely not silent. However, it is inviting you to slow down a little bit, right? Probably it's going to be a little bit easier because a couple of days later, Mercury will enter the sign of Virgo, and then we will be able to actually think through what we've done, what we haven't done, and we can ground our thoughts as well a little bit. And then we're going to be invited to watch out for, to be a lot more organized. Definitely, this is the aspect where we can be reasoning a lot more. Actually, we can have a lot on our mind, and then we just want to be verbalizing those. But also, you can get stuck in your head as well. So you might realize that you won't be able to sleep as much because your brain is running 24/7. There is also this eternal youthful energy to that Mercury. So actually, it could be a brilliant day to go for some type of, rejuvenating your skin and stuff like that. Watch out for, or you can actually have this excess hunger for knowledge or some type of logical approach to things. But also it's an opposition, which is always a little bit of a tension. And Mercury, who is very flexible, don't get me wrong, Jupiter is flexible as well, but they do that in a different way. So Mercury loves collecting the data. Jupiter doesn't care about the data. It just wants to kind of go for the adventure. So extra flexibility might be also a potential problem here, or the hunger for information, and we just want to be very expressing. Now, I tend to believe that Mercury is actually the planet of astrology in one hand, because I've mentioned this in many videos, but actually he is the planet who connects the sun and the moon together. by having the planetary joy in the first house, right? Which is all about the sunrise and the sunset at the same time. So, it might be a brilliant day to actually study about astrology or to study about any type of spiritual matters as well at the same time. Now, Mercury is the planet of business transactions, overall the commerce. So it's very possible that you might want to be signing a contract. Again, you need to be watching out on that day too, and you're going to have to look at a little bit more the details as well. We have got the tendency to skip over the details, or you can believe that you can handle a lot more actually than you can do. So if you are having an important decision to make or some type of business negotiations coming up, then you might want to get a professional advice, or you might want to be holding on a little bit with making that decision. Even though Jupiter can bring some type of luck and opportunity to anything what it does, but it is also the planet of greed, overconfidence, and eventually it could lead to some type of loss. So these two planets love communicating. So overall, this might be a day when you are questioning certain ideas, certain plans, or certain situations in your life as well. You can even challenge your own belief system also. So this is an aspect which can easily get into argument and debate as well. But also, you can easily, let's say, hold a speech like a public speaking, and you're gonna have to be very careful, because you might need to refine your communication style a little bit. Definitely, this is an aspect when we want to be expressing our opinions a lot stronger. Yeah, so this is pretty much, you know, at the end of the day, Mercury is very much about kind of like the messenger. So you might be seeing that you will be receiving plenty of messages today. Somehow you become the center of attention because Mercury has got the urge to kind of communicate. It likes to connect, to link things up, but it also very analytical as well at the same time. So many of the left brain functions belong to Mercury. So, you know, Mercury's archetype is kind of like the storyteller. He is actually a neutral planet, so it likes going in between things. It is an agent. So if, for instance, you are utilizing an agent for selling something, like a business transaction, you want to be selling your home, probably with this Jupiter opposition, you need to be a little bit careful, because it can actually mislead you as well. They can be very good at like playing both sides, or they can be kind of like very good at magnifying the positive things, and then you're just very keen to buy that. So you definitely need to be paying attention to that. So pretty much, this is brilliant day for language learning, for instance, because Jupiter is all about finding the meaning of something. So we can actually open a book up and then look at what does this word mean, for instance. Jupiter loves exploring new ideas, and Mercury is quite technological. So you might actually be experiencing or playing around with some tech related objects. And Jupiter wants to open their horizon. So actually this aspect could be good to do some type of research in a sense on the internet as well. Jupiter usually represents where our confidence is, right? And because it's in the sign of Aquarius, there is that element of collective spirit to it. So we can easily, brilliant day to actually end up being among our friends, and then share or expressing our views on certain things. Just make sure you pay attention to because it could bring up a sensitive topic, and then it can lead to arguments as well. Jupiter usually seek integrity as well, in a sense. So Jupiter does need to learn to kind of follow a straight path. And with Mercury, actually it can play tricks in our head, and then we can go off. I mean, we can become very nervous. Our perception can be changing quite quickly, and we can become very reactive to certain things as well. So it's a very philosophical aspect. It's the eternal student and teacher type of aspect. So you might be questioning or doubting your knowledge as well around these days. But Jupiter always wants to be recognized. It wants fame. It wants to be able to influence others as well. So your brain might be actually running 24/7, how you can reach that. So I think pretty much, let me just have a look at my notes if I mentioned everything I wanted to around this aspect. I think I did. So yeah, I wish you good luck for the next few days with this aspect. And see you very shortly with another video. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.